My name is Maggie Dixon. I'm a family consumer sciences major. I'm from Alvarado, Texas. I went to Paris, France, and we went to study the fashion industry. The class I went with was a special studies class that was focused primarily on fashion. The class was designed specifically for the trip to Paris. So following up towards the trip, we studied fashion and its importance in U.S. industry and how it connects to industry in France. It was amazing for me to see how the business of fashion in France influences so much of business in the United States. I'd wanted to go to Paris since I was a little girl, so going and meeting that dream, that was pretty incredible, but also getting to experience the art, seeing masterpieces like the Mona Lisa and standing face to face with her and getting to see architecture like the Notre Dame and Eiffel Tower. It was absolutely incredible. There was a lot of concern going into the trip whether or not funds would be there, but Tarleton does offer financial aid. I was able to receive a scholarship that helped funding for the class and for travel. We had a payment period, so you were able to pay it off rather than paying everything up front. So it was very easy to work with, very easy to pay off. There was nothing I didn't like about the trip. The whole thing was incredible. For anybody who's thinking about going on a study abroad trip, just go.
I'm Randy Morgan. I'm a communications major and I went to the Dominican Republic.
My name is Tori Carroll and I'm from Lampasas, Texas. I'm a communications major and I went to the Dominican Republic.
The class that I went with for the Dominican Republic trip was intercultural communication. We went to the environmental school in Jarabacoa.
It definitely opened my eyes to see that the way that things are in the United States aren't the way that they are everywhere, or even within the United States. There are lots of different types of people, and just because they're not like myself doesn't mean that it's wrong. And so it's just really opened up my eyes to where I'm going to be able to have different relationships in life and really help in business, because I'm going to be able to communicate with people outside of where I'm from and make those connections abroad.
This trip made me want to care more about what's going on in the world. I used to be very uninvolved. I wouldn't even watch the news just because I didn't want to know what was going on. On this trip, it made me think about other ways that I could also go overseas and help other people instead of being scared. On the last day, there was a dance, and while we were there, we had built a bonfire. And so we got to see them light it for the first time, and they even had s'mores for us, which isn't really a thing in the Dominican, but they had s'mores for us and we danced, and it was just a lot of fun.
They taught us the bachata and the merengue, and we taught them the Texas two-step.
They welcomed us into their family. That was really amazing.
I was one of those people that we were fixing to load the plane and I was crying because, you know, I missed all these new friends that I had made, and I actually have still kept in contact with some of them.
To students who are considering study abroad, I would say do it.
If there's one thing that I've started telling, you know, my younger friends that are at Tarleton, like, before you leave, try to get on a study abroad. Like, it changes everything and it opens up your mind. And now, like, I think of all these different places I can go, and there are so many options, and it's just really enriching.
My name is Lauren McKenna Harwell. I am a senior this year and a criminal justice major, and I went to Scotland for almost a month. The classes were environmental politics and, environmental policy and environmental ethics. The impact that this trip had on my life was exponential. Honestly, it changed me as a person. It taught me to live and really embrace life and not focus on the stressors, not focus on staying in your comfort zone. It forced me to get outside of myself and really immerse yourself in another culture for a short period of time. The funding was absolutely amazing. The scholarship program that they offer through the International Studies Office was the main thing that helped me be able to go on the trip. I had saved prior to deciding to go, and I ended up using a large sum of that, but the scholarship ultimately was what made the decision in me being able to pay for the trip. The most amazing thing that I remember from the experience was learning about the simplicity of the people that live in Scotland, especially the people that live in Edinburgh. They everything is different there. The electricity's different. They don't have dryers. They live a much simpler lifestyle. It's not about driving the most fancy car. It's not about having the most stuff. A lot of these people don't have everything, but they are happier than anyone else I've ever met. It's exactly how you would envision Scotland. It's low-hanging clouds and the old castles and old architecture, and it's like every inch of the cities is filled with some type of heritage or culture, and it was cold, which was wonderful. I would tell other students to get out of your comfort zone and go. It is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and it really does change your life.
My name is Morgan Cavett, and I am from Stephenville, Texas originally. My major is music education with an emphasis on oboe performance, and I actually went to Ireland to study music. I was with the world music class. We traveled with the business class and traveled around Ireland to go and learn about actually the Irish music culture, and went along with business students to learn about other businesses and how they work in Ireland. One of the things I think that I didn't realize before I left to go to Ireland was that there's a whole nother world out there besides the United States. One thing that was so shocking to me was just that the people are so nice and so friendly, and that there's people out there that care about the United States as much as we care about it. And it was really nice to know the Irish culture and learn how their music has stayed traditional for so long after so many years. And everybody has to know that the United States music culture has changed so drastically because of the Irish culture. We have bluegrass, we have country because of them whenever they immigrated over here, and they are so proud to tell you about it. I got in a taxi to go to Malahide Castle. It was one of the best castles in Ireland, and that taxi driver was the most influential person on my life, I have to say, in a long time. He was very motivational and told us about how, we were doing such good for the world just getting out and seeing it. And he said that one of the best things that he wanted us to know was that our culture is part of their culture. And the other thing is he was so passionate about the music and about keeping tradition a part of their life. It is a no doubt once in a lifetime experience.